James Thomas Morning Blend. You know what? We're going into the 14th season with the Steve Wilkos Show. And yeah, guess who I've got on my show today? I have Steve Wilkos. We're going to talk about safely returning to film in his show and what's coming up in November. Good morning, Steve. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Well, thank you. We appreciate you being on with us. Well, the first thing I want to ask is, how are you safely returning to filming? How is that working?
You know, Obviously for me as the host, not too difficult, but like for my staff and how you do the show has changed tremendously because one, we don't have an audience. We're doing the show where the audience is actually another stage for me to stand on so I can quarantine from the guest. But myself, I have to go in every Monday to get COVID tested. I have to have that stupid thing stuck up my nose every week, which is not pleasant. And everybody that comes into the studio has to do that. And then there's certain things that how we get our guests into the studio because we're in the New York, Connecticut, New Jersey tri-state area that a lot of our guests have to come in through a car instead of flying in. So a lot of different procedures. I have to wear a mask from my green room to the stage, and everybody's well protected. So it's just a totally different world that we live in TV now. But the good thing is, we're still doing the same crime stories that we've been doing on stage, and we have them in studio. And a lot of daytime TV shows are hurting in the ratings right now, and we've really held steady and held our own because you're not seeing a lot of difference other than the audience. We have the guests on stage and they're very passionate, and people are tuning in to watch it.
That's a good thing. It's always a good thing. And you know what, Steve? Hopefully they can go from the cotton swab up the nose to actually a saliva test. That's actually getting ready to happen. So hopefully that'll reach you guys real soon.
Yeah.
So tell us what can we expect in November?
Well, obviously in November, that's our sweeps. So we save our best shows. And again, when we had such a long layoff, we finished taping in March, season 13, and then we went back to taping, which we pushed back a month because of the COVID. We wanted to see how other shows were doing, how they were doing their taping. So um, we when we got back, I was really worried that what kind of stories we were going to get, and the stories that we've taped so far are very explosive, very interesting stories, and we're doing stories that are they're going through the legal process now. These are open court dates. People are getting their answers before they're even getting to court, where they're being, judged by a jury or a judge. So to me, it's kind of fascinating that we're getting these stories even while they're in the legal system. Uh, and you wouldn't think that because this year, because of all the things that are going on, that you wouldn't get these explosive stories, that you would get off to such a strong start to your taping season. But I think today is the first day of sweep. So if you tune in, you're going to see some really, really good shows.
When you say explosive, I know what you mean by explosive. Definitely. Steve Wilkos, thank you so much for joining us on Morning Blend. And you know what? Good luck, 14th season, and hopefully you can move from the cotton swab up the nose to the saliva test.
Yeah, take a look at this, man. It's you don't want anything going up that nose, but I should be a diva and demand that I get that saliva test. But we all live in this world now, and you do what you need to do so you can perform or go visit somebody or whatever you have to do. So yeah, we're all making our sacrifices.
Yeah, and you're right. We definitely are. Thanks again for joining us on Morning Blend.
All right, thanks for having me.